Hi, welcome back to I Am Life Puzzle. Ann Kramer here. And today, what we're going to look at is the emotional edge as we're beginning to form a self throughout the journey of our childhood. I spend a lot of time helping people on this edge because of all the edges. This is probably the most difficult one to make because we have to make it through our young childhood years when it's very overwhelming world out there and we don't quite know how to put this piece together. So we begin building the emotional edge at around age 7. Are we emotional before age 7? Absolutely, we're emotional before age 7. If you've ever seen a temper tantrum of a 3-year-old in a grocery store, you know we're emotional. But here's why we don't start building this edge till around age 7. And that's because until then, our brain is still forming, and we really don't have the capacity younger than that to begin managing our emotions. We just don't know what's going on. We're so young. So, starting around age 7, our brains can recognize what we're feeling: mad, sad, glad, or fear. And here's the key to the emotional edge: that your self knows how to manage that feeling, mad, sad, glad, or fear, instead of the feeling managing you. And what I mean by that is, experiences can happen and you can get afraid or you can get angry, and yet stop and recognize, I'm feeling angry, I'm going to manage that. When you don't learn how to do that as a child, you can walk into adulthood, and we see this all the time. You can walk into adulthood where the feelings manage you instead of you managing the feeling. I mean, think of something like road rage, right? We have cases all the time of a 45-year-old. You get cut off in traffic, that makes you scared. Then he turns it into anger. He pushes the other car off the road, gets out of a car, and shoots him. Wide open emotional edge. The emotion of anger is managing himself, and he's going to go do something stupid, right? If he was 45 and felt that fear and that anger, he might honk his horn. He might go, oh, I'm glad I made it through that, and then keep on driving. But the self would say, I'm not going to go kill somebody over that. Never. So that's what we're looking at. And when we're making the emotional edge, we also will be making the thinking edge. And this is one of the tricky parts too. While we start this one at 7 and our brain is being able to recognize what we're feeling, mad, sad, glad, or fear, our thinking edge won't start till around age 9. And that's when the prefrontal cortex of our brain is going to realign and be able to become a logic choice maker. When, 5-year-olds not very good at logic choice, and not very good at 9 either. But over the course of 9 to 24, we will get better at knowing what choices to make. So these two edges come together in tandem as we're building ourself. Life is happening to us all the time. And we are taking in that information and having an emotional reaction through our senses. We see, touch, hear, taste, smell things. And every time we do, we have to sort of make a response to that. And most things are benign and no big deal. But over time, things can come into our lives. And as very young children, we're not quite sure how to manage them. And so we can get in stuck patterns where we enter adulthood and we still don't have that capacity. We have not learned it. Remember, long ago, as we started this series, I said humans are a learned species. We have to learn how to be human. We have to learn how to manage our emotions. And if we're not taught how to do that, we won't just instinctually know how to do it. We have to go through experiences, maybe respond to it with an incorrect emotion or an emotion that we let overwhelm us, like with temper tantrums, where somebody else will come back, an adult, and guide us and say, okay, you can feel the feeling, but learn how to manage it. Don't let it manage you. And all around the world, we can see how often adults have wide open emotional edges and letting that emotion manage the self instead of the self manage the emotion. But as you build this edge from the age of 7 to 24, and you practice feeling your feeling, mad, sad, glad, or fear, and the self managing that feeling with the right appropriate way to build a response to it, then what are you doing? You're building yourself, you're owning your life puzzle, you're making proactive conscious choices and becoming whole. But this is a skill that if you didn't learn it, and a lot of us did not in childhood because traumatic things happened and sort of stopped the learning process, it's never too late to learn it. And that's what we're teaching here at Life Puzzle, is how do you learn to recognize these patterns that are not working for you and undo them. And that's what we'll learn in the Feeling Thinking Flow, which is another in the series of these life puzzle videos of really helping you learn how to put your life puzzle together. Remember, life puzzle, a piece at a time with the whole you in mind. And building your emotional edge, growing yourself, will really add to your life puzzle making in a way that's going to make it possible for you to be whole and dynamic for the rest of your life. So I'll see you in the next video, which is focusing in a little bit more on the thinking edge and what it means to complete the thinking edge. As I said, these guys dance together. As this one comes together, this one will come together and create a great life.